Every subject that we work with today has evolved over time. The history of philosophy is the story of how our thinking has evolved. It has been an epic journey of evolution to stay aligned with the needs of our humanity, from a small hunter-gatherer group to a civilized community to part of an empire to modern day. Join me in this video as we explore the 13.8 billion year evolution of human beings and this universe, beginning with the Precambrian era, coinciding with the formation of the universe, galaxies, and planet Earth, to subsequent rapid diversification of species on our planet during the Cambrian era. This continues with advancements in stone tools, early cave art, expansions in human population during the late Stone Age, eventually transitioning to settled agricultural communities as part of the Neolithic Revolution. Human societies eventually mature into civilizations and empires during the Axial Age, and finally we arrive at the modern day advancements in science and technology. To really tell the story of philosophy, we have to go back, way back. It all began 13.8 billion years ago. The stage for everything was set with the Big Bang. This event kicked off space, time, and all the matter and energy that makes up our universe. Of course, there were no humans yet, but the fundamental laws of physics were already in place. The core question philosophy asks, what exists, starts right here. As we move on, 13 billion years ago, things cooled down. Gravity pulled matter together to form stars and galaxies. These acted as nuclear furnaces. Inside these stars, heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron were created, the very building blocks of life as we know it. 4.6 billion years ago, our sun was formed, and its gravity pulled in rocks and dust to create the planets. Earth was born in an habitable zone, not too hot and not too cold, creating a stable environment where life could eventually begin. 4 billion years ago, when life really began, somehow on our planet, those chemical building blocks combined to form the first self-replicating organisms. This was the start of information being passed down through RNA and DNA. From here on, life would grow in complexity and awareness. Between 600 million years ago to about 55 million years ago, we see the early signs of consciousness. Over millions of years, simple cells evolved into complex multicellular life. We see the first specialized nerve cells, which are crucial for sensing and responding to the world. Life exploded from plants to sponges to fish, reptiles, birds, and finally primates. The biological hardware for consciousness and awareness was now being built. Between 6 million to about 2.6 million years ago was the era of standing up and making tools. Early human ancestors like Australopithecus and Homo habilis started doing something revolutionary, walking upright on two legs. This was a game changer. It freed up their hands to create the first simple stone tools. We had officially entered the era of problem solving and technology. The era between 1 million to about 400,000 years ago was an era of mastering fire. For a very long time, fire was just a threat. But then early humans learned to understand it, control it, and finally make it themselves. This led to huge leaps. Cooking food meant more nutrients, which fueled brain growth. The community campfire became a center for social bonding. Fire provided safety from predators. As we progressed to about 1.7 million years to about 100,000 years ago, was an era of teamwork and planning. From making simple tools now evolved into making complex tools like hand axes. This required a big cognitive leap. You have to hold an abstract idea of the final shape in your mind and then execute it to make it. This period saw the rise of organized group hunting, which required complex communications, planning, and social coordination. About 100,000 years ago was the era of earliest humans and asking the first big questions. Here we start finding evidence of intentional burials, sometimes with tools buried alongside the person. This is huge. It suggests early humans were self-aware and understood their own mortality. These rituals show us they had values, felt grief, and had strong social bonds. This is where the first seeds of metaphysical thought, asking what happens after we die, were planted. 70,000 years ago to about 45,000 years ago is the era of symbolic revolution. In this era, we see massive cultural innovation, the emergence of complex language and symbolic thinking. We see the first clear examples of art, like cave paintings, body ornaments, and complex tools. Complex language means you can talk about the past, the future, and abstract ideas like spirits or rules. Shared fictions like gods, tribes, laws became possible. This laid the foundation of culture, ethics, and politics. 12,000 to about 10,000 years ago, time to settle down. As the last ice age ended, the climate stabilized. Humans began transitioning from nomadic hunter-gatherer groups to living in permanent villages near resource-rich areas. Sedentism created a larger, denser population. Living together in larger groups created new social challenges. How do we divide up resources? Who owns what? How do we maintain social order? The period between 10,000 to about 4,000 BCE is regarded as an era of agriculture revolution. This is one of the biggest shifts in human history. We've moved from a nomadic lifestyle to settled farming communities. Populations grew. This led to food surpluses, which meant not everyone had to be a farmer. This is the beginning of specialized labor where people could become artisans, leaders, or priests. This period is marked by the advent of deities linked to natural elements like rain, sun, wind, water. Rituals to ensure abundance, acting to understand and influence the world. This required long-term planning, understanding cycles of seasons, and new social structures. The period between 4000 to 800 BC, we see the rise of cities and writing. Villages grew into the first great cities and civilizations in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley. As civilizations advanced, it is followed with bureaucracy, taxation, large-scale construction, and organized armies. And with cities came a monumental invention, writing. Writing was a cognitive game changer. For the first time, an idea could be examined separately from the person who said it and the situation when he said it. It allowed for records, laws, and complex stories to be stored and shared. Advancements in linear, structured, and record-based thinking. This is where we see the beginnings of proto-philosophy, early attempts to explain the cosmos, share wisdom, and understand our relationship with the divine. The period between 800 to 200 BC, the Axial Age. Historians call this the Axial Age because it was like a great turning point for human thought across the entire world. Civilizations advanced into large empires, increased trade, and these brought along conflicts and social upheaval. Literacy expands, and we see the emergence of the thinkers and merchant class. In a relatively short period, thinkers began using reason and deep introspection to look for universal truths, moving beyond old myths. Philosophers offer systems and arguments seeking rational or spiritual foundation for ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. In Greece, you have Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle laying the foundations of Western logic, ethics, and metaphysics. In India, the Upanishads explored the nature of reality and the self, while Buddha proposed the Four Noble Truths and founded Buddhism. Mahavira founded Jainism. They now offered new paths to enlightenment. In China, Confucius and Lao Tzu taught about social harmony and living in tune with the natural order, the Tao. In Persia, Zoroastrianism reframed the universe as a battle between good and evil. Hebrew prophets called for ethical monotheism and social justice. The period between 200 BCE to 1400 CE. During this long period, large empires like Rome and Han China helped spread these new ideas and religions. Major world religions like Christianity, Buddhism, and Islam became organized and widespread. Philosophy's job often shifted to synthesizing, trying to reconcile the logic of great thinkers with the doctrines of faith. Renaissance and Enlightenment during 1400 to 1800 CE. Europe rediscovered the classical ideas of Greece and Rome, sparking the Renaissance. The scientific revolution completely changed our understanding of the universe, and the printing press spread ideas faster than ever before. There was a dramatic shift towards human reason and empiricism, the idea that we can understand the world through observation. The thinkers started applying reason to politics, debates on forms of government, leading to modern ideas about liberty, rights, and democracy. And finally, as we come to the current state between 1800 CE to today, the modern world. The last 200 years has been a whirlwind. The Industrial Revolution, world wars, globalization, and now the information age. Our ability to communicate and access information has been completely reshaped. Philosophy's role today is often to grapple with the consequences of all this change, exploring everything from ethics in technology to the meaning of life in a globalized, fast-paced world. I hope this content was beneficial to you. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, share your comments, subscribe for more content like this.